Youth and Sport Affairs, support staff, radio listeners, TV viewers, those viewing via social media, and members of the media. Welcome to this committee meeting number 2 for today, Tuesday, November 29th, 2022. A special welcome is extended to the board of the Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts and to their visiting guests. We have established a quorum of 8 members. Please stand for a moment of silence. I have received notice of absence from the following members: MP Melissa Gums, and also notice of lateness from MP Rayon Peterson. Are there any notifications? MP Westcott Williams, you have the floor.
Madam Chair Lady, a very good morning to you, a good morning to our support staff, and of course, a good morning and a warm welcome to the representatives of the Charlotte Brookson Academy, and of course their guests here, many of whom I was able to meet before, and I look forward to their presentation now being made to the Parliament of St. Martin. However, Madam Chair Lady, I could not go into that discussion without expressing my dismay at the reports regarding the treatment of 2 citizens of St. Martin by 1 or more police officers. And I can't imagine that the stories are correct the way they have been publicized in the media. But even if not, Madam Chair Lady, it would behoove the Minister of Justice to come out and make it not only clear what happened, but also what actions have been taken, are to be taken in this regard. Madam Chair Lady, we on St. Martin, as a legal state, cannot allow these things to go down, and with we are sorry statement. That is not sufficient. As a member of Parliament, I am asking the Minister of Justice the pertinent questions, but I hope that before even answers are given to me as a member of Parliament and the Parliament in general, that the Minister comes out and make a statement with this respect, especially in the month of November, when we are observing the strides made against violence against women, but also the lengths that we still have to go to in order to be where we would like to be where this matter is concerned. We cannot just close our eyes to what has transpired. With that, Madam Chair Lady, thank you for the opportunity to make that notification during this part of the meeting. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams. Are there any other notifications? I would like to also join MP Westcott Williams in imploring answers to what has transpired over the weekend with the 2 victims at the hands of our local police officers. As we commemorate the eradication of violence against women and girls, the journey of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence has started. It is an annual campaign that begins on the 25th of November, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and it runs through International Human Rights Day, which is the 10th of September. So upon walking in, I was asked, what does that purple ribbon represent? And it represents the eradication of violence against women. And of course, my mantra, love does not hurt, is written on the ribbon. This campaign is supported by the United Nations through the Secretary General's Unite by 2030 to End Violence Against Women initiative. This year, the UN marks the 16 days under the theme Unite, Activism to End Violence Against Women and Girls. So as we advocate for change, let us raise our voices in unison. Domestic violence thrives when we are silent. But if we take a stand, listen to the cries, speak up and work together, we can end domestic violence. Say no to abuse, because as I stand by the mantra, love does not hurt. And on another sad note, I would also like to extend my condolences to one of our Cahill stalwarts who have passed on, Mr. Elton Elias Jones. So my condolences goes out to his family and the friends of Cahill on the passing of Mr. Jones. I thank you. The agenda point for this meeting is a presentation and detailed explanation of the Memorandum of Understanding signed between Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts and Bowie State University, and the future plans of the Charlotte Brookson Academy as the performing arts institution of secondary education on St. Martin and in the region. Can be found under IS 223-2022-2023, dated November 22nd, 2022. We go over to the agenda point, and on November 22nd, 2022, Parliament received a request from the Board of Directors of the Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts for a meeting of this committee to present and discuss the Memorandum of Understanding signed between CBA and Bowie State University, and to present and discuss the future plans of the Charlotte Brookson Academy as the performing arts of institution of secondary education on St. Martin. All members have received a copy of this document. At this time, I would like to give the floor to the President of the Board of Directors of the Charlotte Brookson Academy, Ms. Mei-Ling Chun, for her opening remarks and presentation. You have the floor.
Good morning. Thank you, MP Ramu. Thanks very much to the entire Educational Committee. Thank you for taking this, giving us a chance today to educate you and update you on all the transformations that have been happening since the weekend. I would like to start to introduce the delegation that's sitting here with me. On my right, my new friend, Dr. Bro, the president of BSU, followed by our director, Tatiana Arundel. Next to Tatiana is Dr. Lynn Long. She's a professor of education. Professor Theo Williams. He's the chair of Fine and Performing Arts. And to my left, our newest board member, Guy Draper. And next to Guy is Mr. Donald Huffman, who has donated the first scholarship for a CBA graduate to go to BSU. This is a full scholarship. Before we start, the agenda that we will have is basically to tell you, and because not everybody really knows in depth the story of Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts. So I will touch on that a little bit. Then I will be, sorry, I made some notes here. I will hand it over to Dr. Bro, who will then give a presentation. And then afterwards we will, on BSU, and then afterwards we will have presentations on and detailed information on the MOU. Okay? In August of 2012, the Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts, a co-educational secondary educational school, opened its doors to provide a unique type of education to the youth in St. Martin. The intention of the school was to draw children of secondary school age with a rich background in performance arts from the diverse cultural, social, and academic background that is evident in our society, and provide them with quality education in a caring, nurturing, stimulating, yet challenging artistic and academic environment, and give them that opportunity to develop and flourish. Mrs. Charlotte Brookson had a strong belief in family, in bonding, and in developing long-lasting, loving relationships. Charlotte Brookson believed that family offers glorious opportunities to assist in the healthy development of an individual's soul and in their character. She strongly believed that we are all connected and we are ultimately all one family. In addition, caring for our community reflects Mrs. Charlotte Brookson in her belief that we're all connected and collectively one. Our students learn that doing for others is the trait of responsible and concerned citizen. We encourage students to work in teams with their parents, other organizations, and individually to participate in community service projects, large or small. The vision of the Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts is to continue to develop the talent and skills of all students by enabling them to independent, creative, and critical young persons who will be challenged by a positive and self-empowering learning environment in which the performance arts are linked to creative arts and a high-quality academic education program. Our mission is to have a strong curriculum focusing on literacy, the performance arts subjects including music, dance, art, drama, theater, media, and technology. And now with this MOU, we'll be expanding actually on our arts, fine arts and performing arts, and creative arts, to provide the highest caliber of literacy and artistic education with the aim of assisting our students in achieving their fullest potential as scholars, artists, leaders, and in general, well-rounded global citizens. For the students of the Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts to attend and compete at the top 100 colleges, universities, and performance arts institutes in the Caribbean, the United States of America, and now BSU, Canada, and/or Europe. Through innovative teaching style, methods, and strategies, CBA aims to offer an alternative means of instruction to children falling through the traditional cracks of education. Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts has come to the next chapter of its beautiful and courageous story that has been writing for the last 10 years. The vision of our director, Ms. Tatiana Arundel, who saw the opportunity to take Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts to the next level. This new chapter, with the school signing the International Memorandum of Understanding with Bowie State University, BSU, a public historical black university in Prince George County, Maryland, United States of America, is a milestone for the CBA community. This signing that took place Saturday, November 26, of the Memorandum of Understanding with BSU provides opportunities to our CBA graduate students and other students for the next level of education. It can facilitate students, faculty, staff, and the community exchanges and visits to BSU for summer programs or exchange programs, further their studies also on a tertiary level. The MAU also provides access to facilities and other resources not available in St. Martin. We are so grateful for this moment and look forward to a fruitful relationship with BSU. Thank you. I'll hand it over now to Dr. Brew.
Thank you, Ms. Chun, and good morning, MP Ramon, to everyone here. I bring you greetings on behalf of Bowie State University, the oldest historically black college and university in the state of Maryland. We're very proud of our long and rich history. We're very proud and pleased to be with you today to join in this partnership with CBA. As the 10th president of Bowie State University, we have been most impressed by the vision and the mission of the institution at CBA. We're very proud to join in this unique partnership and to carry on the long tradition of our institution in opening doors and pathways for students to have access to education. I'm joined here today and throughout this visit with a delegation of faculty, administrators, and staff of Bowie State University. And again, I thank Ms. Chun and the outstanding leadership of Tatiana Arundel for their efforts to bring us together and to join in this partnership. Bowie State University is proud to join the Charlotte Brookson Academy as it strives to become the premier performing arts high school in the Caribbean by enhancing its curricula and increasing the number of students who pursue a post-secondary education. We are especially looking forward to having students from CBA continue their studies at Bowie State University. In the meantime, we want to provide opportunities for them to engage with our own students on our campus through camp and other experiential learning opportunities that we know will deepen their learning and understanding of what lies ahead and the opportunities that they could seek at Bowie State University. For over 150 years, Bowie State University has been dedicated to empowering a diverse population of students to reach their highest potential by providing innovative academic programs and transformational learning experiences. And although we began in the basement of a church in the city of Baltimore from very humble beginnings, we have grown into an institution that engages in strategic partnerships and public service to benefit our local, state, national, and global communities. We have a strategic plan, Racing to Excellence, that connotes that we must continue to change and evolve and transform higher education to meet the needs of our own students in Maryland, but around the world. There are 3 priorities for our strategic plan: academic excellence, student success, and the long-term viability of the institution. I recognize that some of you may not be familiar with our historically Black colleges and university in our long history, but just to give a bit more context, there are 101 HBCUs, as we call them, in the states. They are located in 19 states and the District of Columbia and the U.S. Virgin Islands. BSU is located just outside our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., and north of the capital of the state of Maryland in Annapolis. In addition to being the oldest HBCU, BSU is a public university, part of the University System of Maryland. And our students come from across Maryland and across the United States, from 40 states and 46 countries. BSU sits on the campus of 338 acres in Prince George's County, Maryland. And students go on to work in numerous industries, government agencies, and businesses, and can be found working from Broadway to boardrooms, from the White House, and most importantly, I want to, for the purposes of this audience, recognize one of our distinguished students, still a student, who received the Outstanding Tony Award for his performance in MJ the Musical on Broadway. Has never been done before by someone so young, and he is one of our very own students. Through the partnership with Charlotte Brookson Academy, Bowie State University College of Education will assist in the development of curriculums that integrates the arts with academics through workshops, internships, teaching, training, and residencies. We will also integrate entrepreneurial experiences and promote economic and cultural opportunities for St. Martin and Prince George's County with an arts focus. And most importantly, CBA students will continue, we hope, their educational journeys at Bowie State University and study in programs in various areas of the arts as well as in the STEM areas. We are a recognized leader in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, producing students who are graduating with outstanding backgrounds in data analytics, cybersecurity, nursing, biology, and so on. And so we are very appreciative of this opportunity to afford more and greater opportunities for students at CBA, but for our own campus community. Today, we are growing and thriving as an institution. We've been recognized as a transformational institution that continues to see increased enrollment, bringing in extremely large classes to meet the workforce needs of today in our state, across the nation, and around the world. I look forward to welcoming everyone to our beautiful campus to see the excellence that I see each and every day at BSU. The door is open for you to visit, and I thank you so much for your support that allowed the delegation to travel to Bowie State University to see us firsthand, to experience the warmth, the nurturing environment that we provide to our students, and the excellence in our academics. Thank you for your time today, and now we will continue on with the presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Chun, and thank you, Dr. Bro, for your presentation. Would anyone else of your delegation wish to have the floor before we take it to the members of parliament?
It's the next presentation, right?
It's up to the chair. You want to go into the presentation?
Yes, go ahead.
So we are going to the presentation next.
Let's hear it for bold. Because bold is bright, and bold is brave. And a world without bold would be a whole lot less everything. You see, bold dreams in color, speaks in all caps, and writes with a rhythm that moves us all. Bold makes you think, bold makes you see, and it makes itself seen from the boundaries of space. Bold braces for impact. Bold eclipses expectations. Bold turns every what if into a let's do it and doesn't let up till it's done. Because bold is fearless. Bold is tireless. Bold is tenacious as a bulldog with something to prove. It takes to the stands its ground, knows what counts, and stands up to be counted. And while everyone else is looking the other way, bold is busy breaking barriers, pounding on doors until they open, and laughing in the face of one day. Because bold goes first and takes first place. And the only last it knows is how to leave a lasting impression. Bold takes on big ideas. Bold takes on the world. Bold takes on tomorrow. Bold takes all kinds. And it takes one to know one, and you are one. The world needs more bold. A lot more bold. And bold is what we and you do best. Bring your bold. We want to see big things from you. Bowie State University. We are Bowie Bold.
For us at the Charlotte Brookson Academy of the Performing Arts Board and faculty, we're very excited on this new journey. We're exploring the possibilities of bridging, secondary and tertiary education, immersing and cross-culture.
We're very excited to have these wonderful guests joining us from Brookson Academy on the island of St. Martin. It's great to be able to showcase the excellence that we have here on the campus among our students, our faculty, and our staff. Really looking forward to the future and building a strong and wonderful relationship and paving the way forward for more students to achieve their education.
Adjourn.
Good day everyone, I am Webby, a WebNet 1 created avatar speaking to you on breaking news out of the Caribbean. It is being reported that an historic document was signed on Saturday, November 26, between Bowie State University, the oldest HBCU in the state of Maryland, and St. Martin's Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts. We have the chairman of WebNet 1 standing by for an exclusive interview to explain how this historic agreement came to fruition. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here and make this presentation. This came about because of my relationship with both bodies. And let me just take just a short moment to share with you how this happened. I was introduced to Bowie State by a good friend of mine who was the head of Fine and Performing Arts at the school. I'm a Howardite. I'm a proud alumnus of Howard University. and we consider ourselves the cream of the crop of HBCUs. And when I went to visit Bowie State, I have to confess I went with a little aloofness. However, when I arrived on the campus and was introduced to Dr. Bro, I was stunned by the commitment to excellence at that school and the facilities and the breadth of their academic offerings. It was a no-brainer for me to pledge to support the university, and I have become a supporter and a booster of everything that they do. It is first rate. There is no compromise in their approach, and most importantly to me, through Dr. Bro and her incredible staff and faculty, I saw a relationship between them and the students that was only matched, what I thought in my own mind, by what we had at Howard. It was a family atmosphere. Everyone supported everyone, and the relationship between the students and the faculty was incredible. A little earlier, about 12 years ago, I visited this same body with a different project that unfortunately did not get off the ground. During that visit, I met with about 16 students here, and the stories that they shared with me were quite sad. They felt there was no way out, they had no place to go, and therefore why make the effort? I'm committed to youth, and it stunned me then, and it stayed in my heart. And as this began to come in my mind, I thought, why not put something together for the youth? And I kept that in my heart. Well, 12 years later, about 4 months ago, I believe, I got a call from Tatiana, and Tatiana told me that she had become the director of CBA. And I asked what CBA was, and when she told me it was the Performing Arts High School with my entertainment career, that was a no-brainer for me too. And if you know Tatiana, I wasn't asked to serve, I was required to serve. I'm happy that I did, and it put in my mind the notion of why not bridge these two. And I began looking at the curriculum at CBA, and it was a natural conclusion for me to see if there was a way to put these two schools together in a partnership. To make a long story short, that's what's happened. And my company, WebNet One, is totally committed to this project. I want to just share this with you. My company did some research. This relationship is historical in the Caribbean. There have been liaisons between other universities and schools in the Caribbean, but none this comprehensive, none this broad in scope, and none with the resources that are going to be made available to you here on St. Martin through CBA. I just want to point out for your discussion that it would be easy for Bowie State to have sent a PR representative to make a presentation. That's not what happened. The president herself came. And not only that, the chair of Fine and Performing Arts, Professor Williams, came. And if you look to your right, you'll see the Dean of Education, you'll see the Dean of Computer Science, which makes an incredibly strong, and Dr. Long, where's Dr. Long? Oh, there she is. And Dr. Long, the chair of education. So the commitment of the university to CBA is awesome. And this has never happened in the Caribbean. Now, one thing I'd like to do at the outset is to dispel the myth that a performing arts high school, all they do is draw, sing, and dance. Nothing could be further from the truth. Those people who attend performing arts high schools constantly and traditionally outperform traditional schools. That's not well known. If you look at the statistics that were there for New Jersey in the United States, 68% of teachers reported academic performance increased. 94% of the teachers said there was improvement in social and emotional skills. And at the school level itself, 1.5 points were observed in increase in attendance, and also 2 to 5 points increase in test scores. That supports the fact that this myth is nothing more than a myth. Why are performing arts high school students more successful? Participation in music and creative programs leads to improvement in memory retention, information recall, concentration, and perseverance that helps students achieve greater success on a broad range of subjects. School environments where there's comprehensive music and arts programs increase the ability of young people to do math. It's been shown that the majority of those who are successful in STEM come from performing arts high schools. And that was from former President Bill Clinton, and then I have a quote here from the former U.S. Secretary of Education that said their arts are an essential element of education, like reading, writing, and arithmetic. Music, dance, painting, and theater are all keys that unlock profound human understanding and accomplishment. Let's talk about music itself. Why is music education so important? I'm having trouble with this. I'll let you read through what the gentleman who runs Xerox had to say in terms of how it enabled his workforce to be better. They found out that those kids who attended Performing Arts High School were their best employees. Melissa Lutz, who's with Champlain Architecture, said teamwork involved in a musical performance is a good example of how all teamwork should work in an organization. Again, talking about the workplace. And finally, Gregory Andrick, who's with the Educational Testing Service, says from her experience in school, his experience, I'm sorry, discipline, perseverance, dependability, composure, et cetera, prepared him for the workforce.
Music, it reaches a different part of the human being. When I came to this school, there was not a music program.
In my last elementary school, we didn't have that much instruments.
Many of our children can't afford their own instrument.
One thing that's really important to me is that every single student has access to quality music education.
Money is not a reason why you don't do things. Money shouldn't seize your opportunity.
It shows me how to express myself in a different way.
They wouldn't even give you eye contact, and now when it's time to do a solo, they do it with a spotlight.
The music teacher is very fun, and now that she's going to teach us how to play the violin, I'm even more happy about that.
Every kid in every school in every community should have music.
So many people find their way through music.
So I'm going to share with you what WebNet One's commitment is to this program. We've come up with 3 phases to it. The first phase is a digital partnership with CBA. We're going to rebrand the school and give about $100,000 worth of digital services and training to the school through various contacts that we have, including our own company. The second phase is the BSU CBA project that you're going to hear more about in just a moment. And the third is what we're describing as a Master in the Arts program. Let me share what we've done so far. So that's the new logo for the school, and everything based on their rebranding will be around this. As you can see, we have put together quite an array of masters to teach and have seminars and workshops with the students at CBA. This is another unprecedented kind of approach to have put a program together like this for a high school. Normally, this is done with universities and large community groups. But in this case, CBA is going to be a leader in the Caribbean. I'm calling it the creative pearl of the Caribbean. Now, this lends itself to other aspects, and I want to just show you what they are. Economic development. For example, when I spoke with Debbie Allen, I explained to her what this project was about. She did not hesitate to want to come teach these kids. So she's going to come down and have a session with the kids at the end of the week. Using CBA students and the students she brings down, they will have a recital where the community will be invited and the parents will be invited to see what that week of teaching lend itself to. Now, the other thing that we see here is an opportunity for economic development. How do we do that? We invite all the high schools from the Caribbean to apply for a tuition to attend and participate in Miss Allen's training class. That's a tuition fee that will go to the school. Well, a part of that is that these people have to stay somewhere. These people have to eat, and they'll want to go around to visit all the things on the island. That's where the tourism piece comes in. So as we do these functions and allow these masters to come to St. Martin, there's an opportunity for economic development and tourism. The advantages of it from the Bowie State point of view will be explained a little later, because as the school sends its crews down to work with the students here, they will be able to create things that the tourism department can use. So this is a great relationship between the two, because that can also be carried back up to the States with free publicity through programs like PBS. So there are a lot of synergetic opportunities here for this to take place. Business. You guys had a disastrous hack with your electric company. Well, Bowie State University has, and get this, folks, the #1 cybersecurity course in the nation. That is an amazing opportunity for the businesses here on the island to send their cyber professional to the university for an abbreviated program that I'm sure could be worked out. that now has business benefit. There are also internship opportunities. You may have an employee that needs to be better trained. Their curriculum is awesome and it's wide, and I invite you to take a look at it.
Just in, another bulletin, Donald Hoffman, President and CEO of Excel Services Corporation, and President and owner of Jack's Hard Cider and Atomic Dog Wine, has reportedly been seen on St. Martin. For more on this developing story, let's bring in our Caribbean reporter, Jebby, who is in Phillipsburg. Jebby, fill us in on this breaking story.
Donald J. Hoffman is a 30-year nuclear energy expert and past president of the American Nuclear Society. His firm, Excel Services Corporation, is one of the most respected in the world in providing support services for enhancing safety and reducing costs in the nuclear energy field. He's a board member of the Directors U.S. Energy Association, a recipient of the Republican Senatorial Medal of Freedom, a member of the Executive Roundtable of the Republican Governors Association, a member of the University of California Berkeley's Nuclear Energy Advisory Board, a member of the Civil Nuclear Trade Advisory Committee, and a member of the Small Business Administration Leadership Council. And, on top of this, he runs Jack's Hard Cider and Atomic Dog Wine. And now, let's meet Mr. Hoffman. Sir, you're obviously one of the busiest corporate executives in the world. Why are you in St. Martin?
Guy, thank you for that introduction.
Mr. Hoffman, if you can please use the microphone for Mr. Draper because yours is giving off stats.
I would be happy to. Can you hear me okay? I could probably talk without it, but Madam Chair Lady, members of Parliament, and members of the Committee on Education, what a privilege and a pleasure it is for me to be here. And yes, while I am quite busy and was not entirely sure I would be able to make this trip, I am so glad that I did. I have just arrived at your great island on Saturday afternoon, and in the last 2 days I have been privileged to see so many wonderful things. But most importantly, I've had the chance to meet your wonderful population, to get a sense of what spirit you have, what comfort, what kindness, what embracement you have of all the things. And last evening I had the privilege of attending the graduation for 2022 for the students that graduated from CBA, and to watch them not only in their performances, but their activities and their actions, the love, the affection, the kindness, the shared beliefs, the family orientation together, to believe in themselves, to have worked so hard, to have an opportunity to do even more. As my good friend Guy said, the opportunities are what matter. And like it or not, no matter how many things we want to do and the things that we believe should be done, the fact is that all these things cost money in the end run. And my responsibility in all of this is to assist in raising funding to facilitate the processes and the programs that can and must be instituted, both here in St. Martin and also in the United States. In order for that to happen, we are looking at this at 3 distinct phases. Our first phase we began last evening, where we awarded the first scholarship, for full scholarship, to Boise State University for a graduate of CBA. Our second phase is going to be working very closely with you, Madam Chair Lady, this committee, and your Minister of Education and your government in finding ways to collaboratively work together to fund the capability for CBA to relocate to a better entity, a better venue, because the venue they're in just does not allow for them to be able to do what they need to do. And with all of that occurring in parallel, we need to raise additional funding for the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth, and so on and so forth of scholarships, because all those students are deserving of said scholarship. And in order for that to happen, we have a lot of work to do. While I already have a plan, I'm already starting to think through this, I've already started contacting my colleagues and others about the significance and importance of this activity. But we cannot do it without you. The third phase is to acknowledge and recognize that our children, and I mean our children on the island, for them to be able to have the opportunity to even go to CBA, CBA has to expand its capabilities. As I understand it, they've already turned away 80 students. That's unacceptable. Just one student turned away, in my opinion, is way too many. So we have to do something in the immediate term. So we have a short term, an intermediate term, and a long-term activity. And those plans must be integrated across the spectrum of ensuring that we're doing the best to ensure that CBA can build on its already successful activities and approaches and be even better. They have already demonstrated how much they can do without the support and assistance that we can give them. It is now time for us to acknowledge their great accomplishments and give them the assistance they so greatly deserve for the benefit of not only the academy, but also for the wonderful students and all the administrative folks and the teachers that go there. But I carry that on to Bowie State. I too had the privilege of going to Bowie State University, not having any sense of what I would see. I was so incredibly impressed with the commitment, with the dignity and the honor in which their programs were carried out. As Guy said, with the commitment to excellence, which I'm a huge believer in, and finding ways to constantly think outside the box, to be creative and innovative in their approaches, to ensure that all their educational and academic programs had an integral part of that, with the performing arts, entrepreneurship, and building for the future, giving people a chance to see who they are, what they can be, what they can do, to make better global citizens, citizens that are going to lead us in the decades to come. Well, you have that here too. Your young people have that capability also. And with that, it's a privilege for me to be a part of this great institution, both of them, CBA and BSU, and all the things that Guy has done with WebNet 1 and all the individuals that are committed to this. I'm going to work very hard to make sure we find a way to get the funding that is so necessary. But I must continue to reiterate, as I did to your Minister of Education last evening, we cannot do this without governmental support and commitment, both in the policies and the laws, but also in the financial and also in supporting our capabilities to go where we go. So in this moment, I challenge you and us to work together collaboratively to make this historical event of this kind of collaboration between CBA and Bowie State University what it can and should and must be, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
That's all, folks.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce the incredible MOU team.
Madam President and members of Parliament, it's indeed a pleasure to be here today. This is a perfect transition. I teach animation, that's why I'm laughing, so with the animation thing at the end. My name is Professor Teodros Malkeshwa-Williams. I'm Chairperson of Fine and Performing Arts at Bowie State University, here with our wonderful colleagues as well. I also wanted to acknowledge our deans, Dean Georgia Kwa of the College of Arts and Sciences, and Dean Rhonda Jeter of the College of Education. And what's really unique about this, in the DFPA, we have a saying, we create, we connect, and we inspire. And we definitely have connected as departments and throughout the colleges and different areas on Bowie's campus to bring this project together. We're definitely trying to make these connections with you all here in St. Martin's. And in terms of being inspired, I have been beyond inspired by the amazing talent that I've seen here from the students at CBA, and I'm just very excited about this partnership. So, Bridge to Bold. What is the Bridge to Bold? We're hoping that this, I'm gonna try this clicker here, sorry, it's the first time. Okay. Bridge to Bold is this partnership, obviously, between these two institutions, the first of its kind. When I think of a bridge, as I mentioned the other day, I think of a pathway, a way of getting between two areas, but it's also, for me, I like music. The bridge is the best part of the song, and I think this collaboration, these students that we have here at CBA, they're the best part, and that's what we look forward to. So this collaboration has come, I'm sorry, I'm trying to, there we go. I'll go through this quickly. These are shots of the Fine and Performing Arts Center, or FPAC as we call it. It's a beautiful facility which your students will come to. We have main stage theater, black box theater, movement studios, computer labs, fashion design, costume shops. I can go on and on, but it's just a beautiful facility. And so let's talk about the BSU team, and I'll have Dr. Long also hop in. Okay. So.
And so this is our team. We worked tirelessly together. It was a labor of love. And of course, I have to put my arms around her because we worked hard together. But there were some people from BSU, and here is our team. Of course, our president, Dr. Amita Bro, our dean of education, Dr. Rhonda Jeter, our dean from the College of Arts and Science, Dean George Aqua, and there are two, and of course, my partner in crime here, T.O., I call him Professor T.O. Myself, Gail Bassett, who's been very, very instrumental in bringing us all together. Thank you, Gail. But there are two members that aren't here that we're going to bring them the next time. And that is Dr. Sean Coleman, who is our Associate Dean, and also Jacqueline Sweeney, who worked really hard with us every time to get these presentations together.
Okay, so we'll meet the CBA team, and of course we have a beautiful picture of our students. And I'll introduce the team that worked together with the BSU team. Myself first, the director, and then we have the academic coordinator. So what we did is we found within the faculty a balance of teachers that represent academics, the arts, and the guidance counselors. So again, we have Ms. Charles, the academics coordinator. Then we went into management, office manager, Mrs. Patrick, the theater arts, drama, and creative English teacher, Ms. Jamila Javois. Then the student care coordinator was also a pivotal part of this team, Ms. Eunice O'Donio. Sitting behind us here with us, Mr. Paul Bell, who is part of the care and wellness department. And then we have Ms. Terry Ann Williams, who is the English teacher also representing the academic department, and Mr. Stephen Kleinhaus, one of our newest teachers teaching music, also representing the arts department.
All right, just a few images here of Bowie State. Of course, we welcome all of you to visit, and again, the team that has come already had a chance to see it. I'm going to go ahead and just start talking in a little bit about DFPA, the Department of Fine and Performing Arts, and sort of where we come into this. Okay, 1 second. All right, so DFPA, Department of Fine and Performing Arts, I have the pleasure of being the chair of a wonderful department that consists of several majors. One of the first is studio arts. We also have areas of music technology, theater arts, which includes both acting and directing and dance. This program is the one that I actually coordinate as well. It's called VCDMA. That acronym is Visual Communication and Digital Media Arts. It's our largest major in the DFPA. We have close to about 300 students in this major alone. There are 5 areas of concentration: animation and motion graphics, advertising design, digital media arts. We have also digital cinema and time-based media, but we'll call it filmmaking for now, and also fashion design and costume design. In addition to those areas, we also cover areas in social media marketing, web design. Proud to say we are one of the few HBCUs with a minor in hip hop studies. Yes, you can minor in hip hop at Bowie State University. I teach the hip hop courses. I'm very proud to say I'm teaching this semester hip hop studies and visual culture. We also teach screenwriting, and so those some of the wonderful things that our students from CBA can be a part of. So of course, with studio arts, we have visual arts, including photography, 2D and 3D art and design, sculpture. We also focus on art history. We're in a wonderful location in Washington, D.C. with museums like the Smithsonian, African American Museum of History and Culture, which we have partnerships with, So students get a chance to do museum studies and visual culture research, exhibition design, as well as curatorial studies, music and music technology, and sound design. And then our theater arts program is acting and directing, which includes both playwriting, scene and set design, stage production, dance and movement studies. But I wanted to mention earlier that the collaboration, this is unique in these connections because it's not just DFPA, it's throughout Bowie State. So throughout the College of Arts and Sciences and with the College of Education. So we have Department of Computer Science that we actually just partnered with. They cover areas of obviously computer science, but we're partnering with them with game design and immersive media. We just wrote a new major that'll be coming, hopefully. By the time your students get there, it'll be there. There's also the Department of Communications, other partners, they teach broadcast, radio, TV production, journalism, and public relations. And as mentioned earlier, wonderful new department, another partner of ours, the Department of Technology and Security. And they have a very just outstanding cybersecurity program. And then Dr. Long, I'm going to pass the Department of Education back to Dr. Long because she could speak so much better on it than I could.
So the Department of Education has 3 departments, and they are counseling, mental health counseling. We also have teaching, learning, and professional development, where it houses the special ed, sports management, early childhood, elementary education. If you want an undergraduate degree in education, this is where you come. And also, if you want graduate studies, you can get it here in the College of Education as well. Also, we have a doctoral degree, which is in educational leadership.
Okay, so the Bridge the Bold, this partnership, we'll talk about curriculum development. I guess, Dr. Long, you could expand on that as well. Thank you.
So how did we start all of this? We had to look at the needs of the community, of the students. We also had to look at our needs and what we could do. And from that, we also started wondering, what are some of the opportunities that could happen with this partnership? And so as we started developing this MOU, those are the kinds of things that we were thinking about. The College of Education is known for preparing effective educators to change lives and become caring and collaborative professionals who make a difference in our global community. We also examine possible solutions that impact schools, districts, and communities. And we promote an entrepreneurial culture through community transformation, focusing on 3 major goals: viability, innovation, and entrepreneurship. This MOU has charged the College of Education to work collaboratively with the College of Arts and Science and the Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts in the planning, evaluating, goal setting, and developing a cutting-edge curriculum that integrates the arts and the academics together. I am especially excited about being able to share and develop professional learning opportunities for both teachers and administrations from both faculties. BSU has engaged teachers from high schools in our community who actually teach in the performing arts school to be a part of this process. Just think of the possibilities, joint teaching and cultural activities that we can experience together. The College of Education is continuing to build on a bold future, on a proud heritage that knows the best collaborations create something bigger than the sum of what each person can create on their own.
Thank you, Dr. Long. And so, the Bridge to Bold, what is the Bridge to Bold? we seek to bring students from CBA to the campus of Bowie State University starting this summer, and faculty, and to engage in academic workshops on campus, training, as well as possible exchanges with our students to come here to St. Martin. We're looking at other opportunities for some of our students in the DFPA to also do internships and experiential learning here as well. But ultimately what we're looking for is recruitment. We have an ulterior motive. We want to bring students from CBA, from St. Martin to Bowie State, to the DFPA, and to recruit those students into the DFPA and into other areas, College of Education, computer science, cybersecurity, et cetera. But we're also looking at ways that we can offer foundation courses, specifically in theater, art, or music, for maybe some, I guess you could call it, advanced placement for students who want to come into our department or some of the other departments. We're also looking at some possible training and courses that can be offered HiFlex or hybrid or virtual between Bowie State and CBA. And then ultimately, we are artists, we are creative people, so we're looking at ways that your students could come to Bowie State and create creative projects and research here in the United States, and then as well with our students coming to St. Martin. And so I will pass it on to Tatiana to talk more about facilities.
Thank you, Dr. Teo. As you can see, the advocacy for facilities has already begun. As of today, collaboratively, we are asking, and we're looking around. We're going to the Minister of Education. We've already started with you, members of Parliament, the need for a facility for CBA that is very much necessary, a place where our students, first of all, can call their own. I think that pride is necessary, where we will have our own home. Not only about us having our own home, but also a facility where we will be able to, to dance, to be able to have the drama, be able to house our own studio, recording studio for music technology that is coming to CBA. A place where the students can have stage management and lights and sound. So that is very necessary to add to the curriculum development that is about to come to CBA.
I'd like to add one last thing. I know this is not on the slide, but it's important. It's important that we mention some of the partnerships that we have formed in the Department of Fine and Performing Arts and at Bowie State, such as companies like Adobe, which is going to supply a lot of the software that our students will be using in terms of video production and animation and other creative areas. We also have partnered with an animation studio called Leica. We're actually going to be launching opening our first stop motion animation studio next week, as a matter of fact, where Leica will come. And Leica is known for a lot of famous films such as Coraline and Missing Link. We partnered with, in our fashion design program, we partnered with Coach Bags and Kate Spade Shoes and Harlem Fashion Row. And A&E Networks is another partner. So one of the wonderful things of being at a great institution like HBCU are these types of collaborations and partnerships that we have that we can offer to the students that come from CBA. I just had to get that in. Thank you.
Okay, and what are the partnership advantages? It's first of all to bring us together, educationally, academically, culturally. CBA to be able to support tourism and many of the great things that happen on the island. Some of the other things, Tatiana, that we had talked about are?
Yeah, so through this partnership, like we mentioned, it's not only about what happens at CBA, the curriculum development, but also what happens on St. Martin, just as a country, what this partnership, the benefits of this partnership. Through COVID alone, you can see how tangible, how fragile the tourism as that being our only pillar, how that has been for us. But through investing in the arts, that has become our new pillar. Not only on St. Martin, but you can see that it's called now the orange economy. And I think that through really acknowledging CBA as the pillar of performing arts on St. Martin as the institution of the performing arts. I think then we will see that our students will then rise to the occasion. Many students, many performers, local artists are now saying, had an institution like this existed when they were going to school, how much further they would have been. So I mean, I don't have to go into it anymore. You've heard the benefits of it. So the partnership and the benefits goes on both sides, both for BSU and for CBA. All right, so the request for assistance. What we have experienced at Charlotte Brookston Academy as the only performing arts institution on St. Martin is that the policies that exist on St. Martin as far as education do not really support a school of the performing arts. A lot of the policies that exist box us in. Because I'll give you an example. If we request, for instance, deviation because we need to rehearse for an upcoming performance, we are still learning even while we are rehearsing, because they learn discipline, they learn time management, they learn the skills in performing arts. So they are still in school while they are rehearsing. Recruiting of teachers. Yes, it is important for teachers to have those credentials. But let's say we have Miss Ruby Butte as an arts teacher. She may not have a bachelor's in the arts, but who is to say that Miss Ruby Butte is not an accredited teacher to teach our students visual arts? So therefore, the policies really need to support when it comes to a school for the performing arts, not only for who can teach, but also what is allowed at a school of the performing arts. And that also ties in to recognizing CBA as an institution of specialized education. Our students are students of a special kind. We are catering to talented students. In order to come into CBA, you have to go through auditions. So it's not just any student can just come in and apply. And as said before, we did turn away 80 students this school year because of lack of space, not because they're not talented. The goals to become the capital institution for performing arts on secondary educational level on St. Martin and in the Caribbean. St. Martin, just as our nature, we love to be the first, we love to show off. And St. Martin, CBA being the only performing arts school, again, not only on St. Martin, but in the region. And with your support, I know that we can become the capital for performing arts in the Caribbean. Creating equal opportunity for CBA students in the world for performing arts. Our goals, that is very short term, because that has begun. With this collaboration and partnership with BSU, our students now have equal opportunity. And thanks to that scholarship and many more scholarships to come by Mr. Donald Hoffman, our first student, Keon Blair, was awarded the scholarship last night. Facilities. Land for CBA to build the school with the Performing Arts Theater. Once again, St. Martin, we love to show off. It is time for us to have a theater of the performing arts. Not just to say, talk about it, but be about it. Right next to that, we envision having the School of the Performing Arts. That would allow us to have a place where we will be able to our kids would be able to practice their arts, be free, open, and without noise, hindrance. Our students be able to play those drums like they do and without disturbing me in my office. Funding. This is a big one. Education in the performing arts, Bridge to Bold, celebrity events, performances, master classes and workshops, scholarship and grants opportunities, business and government support. We cannot do it without you. All of these things that we mentioned, they all cost money. And while we are grateful for Mr. Donald Hoffman and all of his friends that he have already spoken to, we cannot allow others from outside to do what we should be doing for ourselves. So we will be coming to you, both Parliament and to the ministries, to the ministers, and asking for your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much for a very enlightening, very interesting, because I'm sure you were watching me throughout this, the smiles on my faces. I'm extremely elated. Thank you so much for the presentation by Bowie State and as well as that one by CBA. I now turn to the floor of Parliament and I give the floor to MP Westcott Williams.
Madam Chair Lady, thank you once again and a good morning once again. Allow me to thank all the presenters for what has been presented here this morning. And Madam Chair Lady, just maybe we should find another opportunity as a committee to go into more of the details, especially where the relationship between CBA and the government is concerned, and sort of stick to what has been presented here this morning, because I think that is so important. Madam Chair Lady, as one of the persons who has been involved with CBA long before it was an institution, just a thought, an idea, a vision, you can imagine my satisfaction to see how far this institution has come. I know of the challenges encountered from the very beginning. In fact, as Ms. Arundel indicated, finding the right mantra for CBA within our current educational legislation was quite a challenge, In fact, from the onset, CBA was labeled experimental in order to get it to get at least some type of funding. So this morning, as I thank all of you and applaud the partnership, I also want to say thank you to those who have been there before you, to those who have kept the flame alive even when you faced some very difficult circumstances. So to you, all of you who have brought it so far and are now working together to take it even further, I say congratulations. I think it is not only for your institution, but for the country at large, it could mean something. Something such as we can move from just talking about the different niches of tourism and really look at, for example, education tourism. I think this venture can contribute to that. We so often talk about medical tourism as a country that has so much to offer in this regard. Sports tourism and the talent, some of it still very raw, that is on our island. So saying all of that to say thank you. And I wish you much success going forward. However, that then brings me to, of course, knowing what I know, it brings me to some questions. And that is why my earlier remark that maybe the questions regarding the financial contribution from government What does it do to you? Well, how does it help you? What are you able to do or not to do? Is some of the information that I would like to get. The issue of your own building, again, in successive governing programs and political programs, including my own and other political parties as well. We have been talking about a theater for the performing arts since, I don't want to say before I was born because it could not have been the case, but definitely for many, many years. So I think the will is there, and the question would be, can there, between yourselves and similar institutions and the government of St. Martin, finally come a decision? This is what we need. I believe that many efforts are too fragmented, and that's why we're not seeing the fruits, or we're not seeing them in time. And so, so I would like to know, where are you right now as an institution, financially speaking, and what you're able to do or not do? Your concern regarding having to turn away 80 prospective students should be a matter of concern. And so the issue of the building that you would like, I know of your location, and indeed, it's just because better cannot be done is why you are where you are. But that definitely does not manifest what you should be manifesting as an institution for the performing arts, if you please. So the issue of land and a school building, is there a request, a proposal for such, or is there something that now, because of the partnership, you're saying, let us sink our teeth into it? So is there a proposal by Charlotte Brookson Academy for land? Do you have land, one? And if you have land, or you have earmarked land, then what about the building? You know, so how far are you in that particular item? Land to build a school with a performing arts theater. The matter regarding the recognition of CBA, is this something that is already on the rails, or that is yet to come? I know also of the challenges that we have been facing as a country with respect to legislating tertiary education. And we're still waiting to get that done. Our university falls in that bracket of tertiary education. So when I look at recognition of your school as a school for the performing arts, then I ask you, are things on the rails where this recognition is concerned, or is it something yet to come? So I am interested in knowing that. Your discussions with the minister and or the government regarding policies, are these ongoing discussions, or are your requests for assistance, the way you have them outlined here, are they now to start because you have something tangible, credible to say, look at our vision going forward? So, of course, funding, I guess we will have to continue to look at alternative ways of raising funds for the school, for education in general, is my belief. But but especially where it pertains to your immediate future plans, that should also involve legislation, policies, etc. If I can just get an idea, Madam Chair Lady, of where things are at. Have these discussions started? Are they running? But again, Madam Chair Lady, I would not mind that where it pertains to the more intricate questions to CBA itself, that these be forwarded to, so you don't have to, as we would do here in Parliament when we have the government before us, they take a break, and then they have to come back to answers, but that's not necessary in my opinion, at least for me here this morning. But I would like those questions to be responded to and sent to Parliament at the earliest convenience of CBA's management. Madam Chair Lady, I want to thank you and again thank the presenters for your presentation. As I mentioned before, I have seen it before today and I was impressed then and I am impressed today. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams. I now give the floor to MP George Pontiflet.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning to the Chair, my colleagues in Parliament, of course, the presenters and those that are sitting in the tribune. Madam Chair, very interesting presentation, of course, and definitely one of the things that I've always said as a member of Parliament, and of course, looking at what is taking place globally, not only locally, it has to do with finances. And my colleagues know me very well when it comes to that matter. As a matter of fact, no matter what you want to do, sometimes, yes, you can have certain suggestions, certain ideas and so on, but very often, if you want to accomplish that which you have set out, your goal or whatever, it's supported by finances. The matter of the government, which, if you look all over the world, it is always the government, of course. And we have to understand one reality. The way the world is today, every government all over the world is struggling, even the big US of A, with the issue of recession. That's a fact. But I'll just come back to St. Martin as a small island. They call us country, but we are a constitutional state within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. We have a debt of 1.34 billion guilders that we owe to the Dutch government, and we're paying 12.7 million on an annual basis, which, let me use our local term, chicken feed, because it takes us 100 years to pay that back. So one of the things that our parliament is fighting for or have submitted a motion is to have the debt cancelled in order for us to use the finances that we are paying to them for our infrastructure, which would mean education, health, and so on. I say that to say that our reality is that one of our challenges as government has to do with the issue of finances. I was very also saddened to hear that 80 students potential students were turned because of the issue of not having the capacity or the structure in place in order to educate them. We need what you call land space. At present, there's a survey taking place on St. Martin where persons are going house to house in order to determine how many persons live in a particular dwelling, what are the status with regards to employment and so on. And unfortunately, persons there are some who are reluctant in giving that information. And I find it is unfortunate because the simple fact is, in order for government to plan with regards to education, housing, healthcare and so on, government needs the data or the data in order to do so. Now, I believe that what is taking place today with this presentation is excellent. It is an opportunity for our local students to go abroad and get more education and to be able to have the raw talent, but in order to refine that talent and to be useful, somebody said, globally. We cannot look anymore at just local or region. It has to be globally. In other words, any student that finishes as BSU has to be able, at Bowie University, has to be able to find a job anywhere in the world. And for me, that is important. I'm just saying this I want to say this, that what the group is doing, and Ms. Asiana, I'll say this now, I held as a little girl, so then you know exactly how old I might be. But I am very proud to see where she is today, and of course, everyone that is associated with what she's doing. Parliament, government will do its utmost in order, because I wrote something down here which is it came to my mind while the presentation was taking place, and I hope it is, the language is correct, but I say education is one of the steps toward freedom and true independence. And I believe it is important that once we educate our young people, especially because we call them, we say that the future, but in order to be able to handle that future, you must be prepared. And one of the key things I believe is innovation. The world today is moving at a pace that, our days, forget it, will be lost. But today, our young people, at the rate the world is going, they must be innovative in order to deal with the challenges that we are facing. So much success, of course, and definitely you'll have my support, of course, to do the best that we can in order to ensure that you get what is needed in order to make this building, the facilities, and what you need a reality. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Pontiflet. I give the floor now to MP Heilige Martin.
Pleasant good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon to everyone here. I would be very brief because as MP Westcott has asked most of the questions I wanted to pose. But briefly, I'm just for clarity's sake, with the new collaboration between CBA and BSU, does it has to do with is the rebranding going to be part of the new facility or the existing facility that we have right now? And what is right now your capacity at CBA? What's the maximum amount of students you have? And lastly, on the MOU, you mentioned in one of the presentation, it was mentioned that you're going to be expanding on the curriculum. Any additional curriculum? What additional curriculum can we look forward to seeing at CBA with the new MOU agreement in place? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Heilige Martin. I now give the floor to MP Duncan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning to you. Good morning to the representatives here from BSU and CBA. Good morning to my colleagues and everyone tuned in. First, I just have to say congratulations to the board and management and staff of CBA, and a huge thank you to BSU for this extremely important partnership for our students. The opportunities that this will provide the youth and our community as a whole are really incredible. So I just want to say thank you and congratulations. I have always been a strong opponent, proponent of the orange economy. You know, I really believe that our children, our people are some of the most talented in the region. We just need to create the environment for them to thrive, and we have a responsibility here as Parliament, but also government as well needs to think outside of the box indeed. There needs to definitely be policy redesign, but also scholarships need to be increased for performing arts. I know that as a fact. The issue is that it's a philosophy that the performing arts are just as important as traditional academic education. And some of us have that philosophy and some of us don't. And it's gonna be, I don't want to say a fight, but we need to do the work to get to that place. And at least some of us here definitely are willing to do the work. And so as my colleagues mentioned, it will be important for us as members of Parliament to call the government in, and the Minister of Education in particular, to ask him what government is going to do. Because at the end of the day, they're responsible for policy and making sure that CBA can thrive and our students as well. After this meeting, I am going to holler at Professor Williams because I want to find out about the hip hop studies class. I could, 20 years ago, I would have been begging my parents to enroll me in such a program. Unfortunately, you know, it's a little too late right now. But I do have one question for CBA and the representatives, through you, Madam Chair Lady. I am someone who received the American undergraduate degree, and so I wanted to know a little bit more details about the scholarship for our students here in the region. Particularly, let's say in-state tuition is important because of the cost. So if it is possible to understand a little bit more details about what the scholarship offers our students, and also to, if it's possible for non-CBA students to have access to the opportunities in this partnership. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Duncan. Just a quick side note, it's never too late. I now give the floor to MP Peterson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A good morning still to yourself, to the Griffier, to my honorable colleagues, and to the Bowie State University, your whole delegation, and to everybody else. Madam Chair, I enjoyed this meeting. Of course, I'm sorry I was a bit late. I had some difficulty with one of my tires. But just to echo MP Duncan, I also was a break dancer, and I actually won an award when I was 15, when I was living in Curacao. So a backflip back then would have been nice, but I think now I might hurt myself. But to come back on the topic, what do you guys see through you, Madam Chair, about a possibility in the future for collaborations with other schools or other community programs, you know, given how this one would roll out? I personally, coming from a specific ministry in government where I know when it comes to land and buildings, such things are definitely possible. You know, the government can come to an agreement to give out a piece of land in long lease for such a project, you know, and I would assume if more schools were involved, more community programs were involved, that could have actually been centralized, and that can also be, you know, a little bit more weight that you can bring to the to government to say, hey guys, you know, this is something that we would want to do across the board. So again, I didn't want to belabor it too much. I enjoyed the presentation, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Peterson. See, we are finding out a lot of things about our colleagues this morning. MP Westcott Williams, you have the floor.
Should we continue on the dance issue or? Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. The issue of the finances, and my colleague and I were just sort of emphasizing that I believe we need another meeting of the committee to go into some of that. But as I was writing to ask for the floor again, I think that MP Duncan sort of alluded to what I really wanted to zoom in on, and that would have been the issue of scholarships and the financial consequences of this relationship. Because coming back to the 80 students who could not be accepted, who could not be considered rather, I am sure all of you know the amount, and it is still not enough, of money that we spend to send our students abroad to study. I have the same feeling regarding our university, and I have the same feeling regarding this program, and that is invest now and allow some of the money to remain with our institutions here and keep our students here for as long as we can. But I mean that you're going to have to invest and expand and offer more opportunities. So it calls for an investment, but again, we already make that investment to outside institutions. So we'll never be able to accommodate all our students who would have to go abroad to complete their studies, but I do believe that we can maximize much better the institutions that we have here to better prepare our students. So if you have this collaboration with a university, we definitely can look at a financial component, and with that I mean bringing down the cost of having to send our students abroad to different universities, and which they are entitled to receive education following, especially secondary education here, and following our university education, the University of St. Martin's education, that also has several partnerships with different institutions to make it possible for our students. So, Madam Chair Lady, again, but we can leave the financial overview and those discussions for another meeting with the Minister of Education. But at least this gives us some leads in terms of where do we want to go with education in general and with the growth of the CBA in particular. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams. I will adjourn the meeting for 2 minutes to have a brief discussion with the Director of CBA to see how we move forward with the answers. Meeting adjourned for 2 minutes. we now reconvene this meeting, and I turn to the floor, and I give the floor now to the President of the Board, Ms. Mei Ling Chen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We will be, thank you for the questions, MPs. There will be some questions that we will answer right now because they're short and we can answer them, but there's a lot of details involved, and we wrote down the questions, so we would like to actually send those in writing. So before we start, regarding two MPs have asked about the scholarship and what it entails. I'm going to have Dr. Bro explain that. Dr. Bro?
Thank you, and I do appreciate your questions as well. I'd like to address, first of all, the tuition and fees of the university. The tuition and fees approximately comes to just about $9,000. We have one of the lowest price points because we are a public university, and yet we have a high value given our excellence in academics. So students understand and their families understand that part of our mission is about access and affordability to a quality education. So I want to start there. The room and board is included in the scholarship. So the scholarship would cover both tuition and fees as well as room and board. Room and board varies depending on the unit that a student chooses to live in, but approximately it would add in an additional about $10,000 to $12,000 for room and board, meals, and for the housing. We have new housing on campus that is at a higher price point, so we're looking at between $10,000 to $12,000 more. Hence the need for us to continue, as you heard earlier, Mr. Hoffman talking about private giving and his efforts along with Guy Draper to raise the funds from private giving to help offset costs. In addition, as a public university, we are considering, as we've been growing, our enrollment is up. It has increased over 5 years. We just brought in the largest incoming class in the history of our institution, and we are diversifying our student body. Our students are, as I mentioned earlier, coming from 46 nations, 40 states. So we are looking at the possibility of differential tuition. That is something that is under evaluation, but I need to get back to this august body at a later time. But it is something that we could consider. In addition, we have our own scholarships that are afforded to our in-state and our U.S. citizens. We're expanding our own fundraising efforts at Bowie State University to include more funding for international students. So I hope I've addressed your question. Thank you for the question, MP. I believe it was Prescott. Thank you. And Duncan. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bro. I turn the floor now to Ms. Arundel.
Yes, I will kind of like go down the list a little bit. So there was a question by MP Heiliger on the amount of students that we have. Currently, we have 123 students. Maximum capacity in the building, we can only have 125. So that's that's it. Yeah, we decided to stay a little below of it because of the fire code. The rebranding of CBA, that has already begun. That was done or kicked off on Saturday with the signing. The new logo, as you saw today during the presentation from Mr. Draper, the new logo that officially kicked off on Saturday. Besides that, Mr. Guy Draper's company, WebNet One, they are also rebranding or revising our website. But the way they are doing that is through an internship program with our students that are sitting examinations in digital arts. So they will, in collaboration with the designers at WebNet One, will be revamping our website. Oh, additional curriculum. Yes, all of most of the subjects that you saw during the presentations will be afforded to our students either through, there's a high flex, I would say it wrong, high flex system, right? So what this high flex system is, as I can explain it the way I understand it, Dr. Teo, it is one step further or one step advanced than virtual learning. Through the pandemic, of course, our students had to then stay home and had to do virtual learning through the laptop, right? Now, the difference is with the high flex, as I understand it, is now the students will now get the feel as though they will be in the classroom. So there are 360 cameras placed in the entire classroom. So they will get, like I said, the feel that they are in the classroom. This system will also be installed at CBA to be able to follow the classes at BSU. For instance, one of the subjects that will be coming to CBA is textile designing. We have students that are interested in fashion designing. All of these subjects are offered on CXC level. The reason why we have not been offering them is because of lack of facility. But we have, like you mentioned, MP Pantaflet, as I affectionately call you, Uncle George. We had to be innovative in how we can also offer these subjects to our students. And with this partnership with BSU, we have found a way. So the same thing with lighting and sound, stage management, that also falls under CXC. So they only would need that theoretical and hands-on experience. Because of subsidy, when we cannot employ or recruit the amount of teachers that we need. So this also helps with that as well. So we're counting on the business community as well to assist us with this. So for instance, if they need that hands-on approach with the sound and lighting, we have our famous Churchy or Arthur from Rent a Sound, where our kids can learn or work together with them and get those community hours. And together with the theory from BSU and the hands-on from our business community, our kids will be able to get their certificates under CXC for those subjects as well. I think I've answered the most that I can right now, and the rest we will answer in writing.
Thank you, Ms. Chun, Dr. Bro, and Ms. Aronell. I think I have one more MP who wishes to say something, MP Richardson.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon to Bowie State University and Charlotte Brookson Academy. Good afternoon to persons in the Tribune. Good afternoon to members of Parliament and the great people of St. Martin. Madam Chair, I thank you for this opportunity, and the presentation by both organizations here today was very, very good for the people of St. Martin, especially our kids. I would say that the presentation done by Mr. Draper and Mr. Hoffman, I was very appreciative of it. And also, Mrs. Long, I think I would like to have you as my partner in crime also. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the scholarship that is awarded to Miss Blair, Keon Blair, Mr. Blair. I want to thank the university for extending that scholarship to one of our students on the island. And while on break, I was talking to Mr. Hoffman, and I told him he reminded me of a preacher, Joel Osteen. I seriously, but what I want to know from the Bowie State University, if they have any agriculture program and any baseball program. I also, during the presentation, we were told that Bowie State is the #1 in cybersecurity system. And I was wondering, is it in America or is it in the world?
I'd like to clarify that statement, and I appreciate my esteemed colleague's confidence in Bowie State University. What I believe he was intending to say is that we have a Center for Center of Excellence for Cybersecurity, noted by the Department of Homeland Security and the NSA.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I also definitely can concur that through drama, dance, singing, and sports, it boosts the ability of any child, capabilities of learning. And I want to thank you, and thank you for coming to the beautiful island and the friendly island of St. Martin to recruit children, our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MP Richardson. I believe the Joel Osteen lookalike would like to have the floor. Dr. Hoffman, you have the floor.
It's a pleasure to preach the gospel of CBA and BSU. So with that, I just want to say thank you, Madam Chair Lady. I had the chance to speak to a number of the ministers during the break, during the adjournment, and one of the things we talked about was the importance and significance of action on an immediate fashion, to the extent immediate can be done here, because I'm learning your island time, and it's a little bit inconsistent with my being 5 minutes earlier, I'm late. But nonetheless, having said that, in order for us to be successful in any fundraising activity, all of the folks that will be donating will want to ask, what is the government doing? What are the inhabitants of the island doing to support this too? I'm happy to be a part of it, but I don't want to be supporting it completely. And so that's why it's so important, as I spoke to your ministers, to make sure that we stay in close contact over the next few weeks, as I hope you can make decisions that are very, very positive in the appeals that we have made to you today as we answer all of your questions, both the ones that were answered today and the ones we will answer in writing at a later time. But as you can see, there's so much here to do. And I reminded you about a movie in the United States called Field of Dreams, where an Iowa farmer was told, if you build it, they will come. And so I want to call this the Academy of Dreams. If we build it, they will come. And again, as I said, it's not just the students, it's the people, it's the opportunities that you will receive. Bowie State University is one of the best kept secrets in Maryland. When I had the privilege to go on the campus, I had no idea what to expect, and I was overwhelmed. You have the best kept secret in the Caribbean. This is as much your opportunity to become the leader in your region in these kinds of activities, in an academy that teaches not only the academics but also the performing arts, and enables all of these young students to become the leaders of all of our futures. And after all, isn't that what we're supposed to be giving? Is the opportunity for our young to become better, to learn from our mistakes, to ensure that the world becomes a better place? And have we ever had a greater need than we do now for leaders with compassion and understanding and feeling for the people? I think not. So with that, thank you for giving me the opportunity. It's a privilege for me to have a chance to participate with all my fine colleagues to the right and with you. I've shared my card with you. Let me know what I can do to assist all of you in assisting us in making this the best academy that it can be. Thank you.
I thank you, Mr. Hoffman, and I would like to know if you are also able right now to answer the question about agriculture from MP Richardson. Are you capable? I give the floor to Dr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam President. And I'm going to lean towards my Dean of College of Arts and Sciences. So we do not, I was going to do. Okay, so we don't offer agriculture, but under natural sciences, there is bioinformatics, biology, chemistry, and Dean, I'll lean to yours in terms of agriculture. Yeah, I'm sorry, President Bro, sorry. My apologies.
You have the floor, Dr. Brew.
Thank you very much. We have a specialization research underway in hydroponics, aquaponics, looking at the current and changing needs of our global society, looking at drought and the impact of climate change. So we have leading researchers in these areas, and that continues to grow. We have a state-of-the-art Center for Natural Sciences, Mathematics, and Nursing. On the rooftop is a greenhouse where we conduct that research. And once again, you saw in some of the images the Center for Natural Sciences, Mathematics, and Nursing, and that continues to grow. So it's agriculture focus, but it's in the arena of the state-of-the-art of agriculture today. So it's not as you might imagine. What we're looking to do is to expand our research and teaching in this area, to expand our hydroponics and aquaponics, to look at new technologies and how it can serve the needs of the global society. Was there a second part? Baseball. Baseball. We once had a baseball team. Prior to my coming on board 5 years ago, I've been asked that question a number of times. It is under consideration, is what I will offer to you, and I will take it under advisement even further hearing this question today. Our athletic teams have excelled. We have a winning championship football team, and that's football, American football. We have a 6-time championship team in bowling, and those are our ladies. Our basketball teams have excelled and reached outstanding highs. We are the host university for a championship tournament called the CIAA. Our athletic conference is the oldest historically black athletic conference in the United States, and we are the host university for that. The tournament is held in February, coming up very soon. If you'd like to experience some cooler weather, if that is on your agenda, we invite you to come up during February. But to your question about baseball, I will take it under further advisement. Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much for your answers. I look to the floor of Parliament. I see MP Bijlani would like to have the floor.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everyone present here. Wonderful presentation. I think the first 2 minutes I was totally sold out. So I made my notes, some questions, but by the time I thought of speaking up, most of the questions were asked. And very valid questions, and I got a good response. Since I said I'm totally sold on this idea, I'm a lover of music, arts, and everything. From as an MP, my full support is there. I just learned from Mr. Draper that today you're going to be meeting the Minister of Education. At least this MP is supporting this full-heartedly. You have my full support on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Bijlani. Since I see no more MPs wishing to have the floor, before I end this meeting, I too would like to join my colleagues in saying that you have this MP's full support as well. Everyone knows that I'm a big advocate when it comes to youth and education, sports, culture, you name it, I'm the advocate for it. Indeed, your presentations were very engaging. I liked the presenter and the interviewer. I thought that was very creative. And I would also like to join MP Westcott in saying there's certain aspects that we definitely need to discuss with the Minister of Education. We look forward to having you respond to some of the questions in writing. And of course, look forward to the bright future and the bright MOU between Bowie State University and the CBA. Before MP Richardson asked the question about sports, I did a quick research because I too wanted to see what you offer in sports. My son is currently in the US playing basketball in high school. So I quickly checked to see if you are a Division I university, but you're Division II, I saw that. And I saw that you offer 7 sports for women and less sports for men, which is quite interesting. But I see a great future ahead of St. Martin with this MOU. I congratulate you, Tatiana, for pushing, because I also, as MP Westcott mentioned, she has been involved with this school for quite a number of years. I am good friends with the brainchild behind the school. She's a fellow Cahillian. She's from the same district that I'm from, and the granddaughter of Charlotte Brookson. So when she was envisioning this school, you know, it was something that we were all looking forward to. And in the beginning, it was really excelling. And then we saw the vision for the school kind of dwindled. But with Tatiana and with the board now at the helm, I see that vision coming back to fruition. So I want to congratulate you. I always say it always depends on who's at the helm to see things come to fruition. And I love what I'm seeing here now. Congratulations, congratulations. And I look forward to this further working relationship. MP Westcott Williams, I see you want the floor again. MP Westcott Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Not so much wanting the floor, like I want to determine where and how we move from here. Is it the intention of this committee? Then we would not, as MP Heiliger and myself were discussing, then we would not have to request a meeting. So is it the intention of the committee to await the responses to the questions that we have asked, and that then based on that, a meeting will be called to further discuss? So that's, I'm asking if that will be the process going forward. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams, for your question. Indeed, I believe that would be the best way moving forward. Once we receive the answers from the Charlotte Brookson Academy, we can then meet with each other and decide how we will then move forward. Thank you for your question. And as I mentioned, I would like to thank the representatives of the Charlotte Brookson Academy and Bowie State once again for the the Charlotte Brookson Academy for the Performing Arts, and the Bowie State and the representatives sitting here as well in the tribune for your presence here today and for providing the necessary information regarding this topic. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this meeting, and I thank you all for your participation, and I hereby close this meeting. Meeting closed.